Ambassador Jin Soo Park positioned himself at the heart of the Galactic Council chamber, feeling utterly insignificant. The enormous space soared endlessly above, its balconies packed with delegates from 12 distinct alien civilizations. Every platform radiated its own signature hue: azure for the Zenthari, emerald for the Karath, crimson for the Van, each set of eyes fixed upon him from above. 2 decades as a diplomat had taught him much. Trade negotiations and conflict resolution had filled his years. Countless meetings had tested his skills as humanity's voice. Yet this moment carried a weight unlike any other. This felt less like diplomacy and more like standing trial. High Arbiter Velmoth occupied the uppermost balcony. This Zenthari leader possessed a tall, slender frame with flesh resembling polished granite. 50 millennia of star travel had shaped his people's identity. They considered themselves the galaxy's eldest and most enlightened being. Velmoth's gaze upon Jin Soo held the condescension one might reserve for a youth who'd shattered something precious. The Arbiter's words rang through the vast chamber, declaring that the Council had determined humanity's fate. Jin Soo maintained his composure. Commander Hin Ko stood rigidly behind him in full military dress. Though officially his military attaché, her true purpose was witnessing, committing every detail to memory. Jin Soo acknowledged they were prepared to receive the verdict. Velmoth activated his podium control. A hologram materialized centrally, displaying human-controlled territory. 47 settlements glowed yellow against the void. Earth blazed brightest at the network's core. The Arbiter noted humanity's remarkable spread across 47 worlds in merely 2 centuries since joining galactic society. Such expansion defied precedent and demonstrated dangerous recklessness. Jin Soo offered no response. These accusations were familiar territory. The Council's review of humanity's conduct had uncovered numerous violations. Velmoth continued. Evidence of aggression, territorial encroachment, and protocol disregard filled their findings. The holographic imagery shifted. Human colony vessels appeared, followed by extraction operations and defensive installations. Everything appeared menacing in the crimson holographic glow. Ha Jin whispered accusations of dishonesty behind Jin Soo, her voice barely audible. He recognized the truth in her words. Every incident displayed had undergone investigation previously. Resolution had been reached in each case. Human vessels defended against piracy. Colonies occupied unclaimed territories. Satellites served protective functions exclusively. The Council's interest in truth had expired for today's proceedings. Velmoth announced the Council's decision that humanity must accept protected species classification. Jin Soo's stomach plummeted. The designation sounded benevolent but concealed something darker. Self-governance would vanish. Foreign species would administer human territories. Humanity would remain perpetual children forever denied maturity. Jin Soo requested clarification on practical implementation. Though comprehension already dawned, all colonial holdings would transfer to Council oversight. Velmoth explained. Military forces faced disbandment. Expansion ceased immediately. Earth retained nominal autonomy, yet major decisions required Council sanction. Council members shifted uncomfortably on their elevated positions. Some appeared distressed. The Karath delegate, resembling an enormous ursine creature, seemed genuinely sorrowful. The Ven representative, insectoid and analytical, simply observed. None voiced objections. None challenged Velmoth's decree. Jin Soo inquired about refusing their term. Velmoth's smile lacked kindness entirely. A peacekeeping armada of 800 warships currently surrounded human space. Force remained an unwelcome option, though protection of galactic interests would proceed if necessary. 800 vessels. Humanity's entire defensive capability numbered under 300. Most qualified as patrol vessels or system monitors. Perhaps 30 could engage in deep space combat. The mismatch was absolute. Velmoth declared the Council's generosity in granting 30 days for consideration. 30 days to accept the inevitable. Jin Soo acknowledged the Council's magnanimity and requested permission to consult his government. Permission granted, though Velmoth clarified the decision was finalized. The waiting period merely allowed acceptance. The session concluded. Jin Soo and Hin Ko departed in silence toward their shuttle. Throughout the station, diverse alien species conducted their affairs. Some regarded the humans with sympathy, others with disdain, none with genuine respect. Upon reaching their secured shuttle, Hin finally broke silence. Strategic planning had occurred behind scenes. The Zenthari had already divided human worlds among themselves. She'd overheard conversations in the corridors. Jin Soo acknowledged the information quietly. Hin questioned their options. 800 vessels couldn't be overcome militarily. Victory seemed impossible. Jin Su accessed the communications array. He established a quantum-encrypted direct link to Earth's presidential office. His message contained merely 2 words, Protocol Grandfather. Hin leaned closer. She asked about its meaning. Clearance levels prevented Jin Su from knowing details. Instructions dictated sending this message when facing unsurmountable existential threats. Hin pressed for information about its function. Jin Su transmitted the message and admitted uncertainty. Discovery awaited them all. The shuttle disengaged from the station. As they navigated toward human territory, Jin Su observed the starfield. 800 hostile vessels waited somewhere beyond. His message was reaching Earth. Questions about humanity's remaining options consumed his thought. Aboard the station, Velmoth convened privately with fellow Zenfari leaders. They celebrate an anticipated victory with crystalline beverages that captured ambient light. Human compliance seemed certain given their lack of alternative. Within 1 month, 47 resource-rich worlds would fall under their control. Exploitation could continue for millennia. Another Zenfari questioned potential refusal. Velmoth laughed dismissively. Refusal meant forcible acquisition. Victory was inevitable regardless. Humans remained novices in space, barely 2 centuries beyond their homeworld. They possessed nothing threatening. Distant on Earth, Jin Su's message reached a mountainside installation. The facility carried no official designation. Mere handful of individuals knew of its existence. It had remained sealed since humanity's initial alien contact 2 centuries prior. Security protocols dormant for 200 years, suddenly activated. Within the mountain's depths, inside a chamber carved from bedrock, illumination began spreading. 1 light, then several, then dozens multiplying to hundreds. They revealed a space of seemingly impossible dimensions. The chamber stretched 5 kilometers lengthwise and 2 wide. Only a solitary control station occupied the central area. At that console, a holographic interface flickered into being. Ancient text appeared, written in archaic human language. Though the letters seemed antiquated, translation software converted them to modern comprehension. The display confirmed Protocol Grandfather activation and awaited governmental authorization from Earth. President Min Jun-choi received the emergency alert during night steps. He bolted upright, heart racing frantically. Knowledge of this possibility had accompanied his position. Every president since first contact understood this day might arrive. All had hoped otherwise. He dressed urgently and took secured transportation to the mountain complex. A single previous visit occurred upon assuming presidency. They had revealed the secret had been shared, accompanied by prayers it would never require activation. Chief Archivist Seo Yoon Lee awaited him at the entrance. 90 years had bent her frame thin and fragile, yet her eyes remained penetrating and lucid. She had safeguarded this secret for 4 decades. Her predecessor maintained the watch for 50 years before her. An unbroken succession of guardians extended 2 centuries back. She addressed the president quietly, noting the ambassador's signal. Confirmation came with acknowledgement of the situation's severity. The council threatened all colonial holdings. 800 vessels backed their ultimatum. Surrender was demanded within 30 days. Min Jun closed his eyes momentarily. Choice had evaporated. Seo Yoon countered that choices always existed. However, this situation matched the protocol's intended purpose precisely. They proceeded together into the mountain through corridors, humming with awakened power. Security barriers parted automatically. Deeper they descended until reaching the central chamber. Min Jun stood before the ancient interface, gazing upward at the vast emptiness above. He requested she repeat the explanation. Describe this place's purpose again. Seo Yoon interfaced with the console. The holographic array expanded, presenting information that consistently astounded Min Jun. 2 centuries ago, our inaugural faster-than-light trial awakened something dormant. Automated defensive platforms throughout the outer system had slumbered for thousands of years, monitoring and anticipating. The display presented images of those platforms, ancient constructions, utilizing materials humanity still couldn't fully comprehend. Investigation followed naturally. They discovered records data crystals, revealing fundamental truth. 50,000 years previously, humanity reached stellar space. A different humanity entirely. The initial flowering, an empire sprawled across the galaxy. They achieved technological and intellectual heights we're only beginning to glimpse. Then they vanished, Min Jun stated softly. Affirmative, though before departing they constructed 7 vessels. 7 Guardians. These were concealed in fold space pockets throughout the solar system. accompanied by caretakers, artificial intelligences designed to watch Earth until readiness. The display transformed again. It revealed 7 massive vessel configurations. Each measured 15 kilometers in length. They dwarfed any human construction. The predecessor civilization left us both gift and message. Seo Yun explained. Protect the cradle until the children mature. When we achieved faster-than-light capability, the caretakers judged us prepared for truth. They revealed themselves to our initial explorers. A decision was made then concealing our heritage until necessity demanded revelation. And necessity has arrived, Minjun stated. Seo Yun concurred. Necessity has indeed arrived. Minjun positioned his palm upon the console. Scanners verified his handprint, retinal pattern, and genetic code. Confirmation established his humanity. Verification confirmed his leadership of Earth's government. A question materialized in luminous text. Do you wish to awaken the Guardian? Minjun contemplated the 47 colonial worlds. He considered families inhabiting them, children born on distant planets who'd never witnessed Earth. He pondered humanity's future and what surrendering that future to the Galactic Council would mean. He confirmed authorization. The console emitted a gentle tone. Deep within the mountain, systems dormant for 50 millennia, fully activated. Throughout 7 solar system locations, fold space pockets began opening. Massive dreadnoughts older than any living civilization commenced their awakening sequence. Minjun ordered Admiral Kim, summoned. The time had arrived. Seo Yun acknowledged and dispatched the message. Far above in Earth orbit, the defensive platforms that revealed themselves 2 centuries ago rotated toward deep space. They had maintained their vigilant watch. Now they began transmitting signals only the 7 dormant vessels could perceive. Within the council chamber, Velmoth retired confident of impending victory. He dreamed of wealth and dominance and humanity serving Zenthari interests for generations. He remained ignorant that everything was about to transform. He didn't realize humanity possessed secrets predating his entire civilization. He couldn't imagine that within 30 days he would witness something shaking the foundations of everything the galaxy believed about history, power, and humanity's fundamental nature. Admiral Taiyang Kim received his summons at 3 in the morning. The directive was straightforward and unambiguous. Report to Mountain Facility, 7 immediately. Presidential authorization confirmed. Protocol Grandfather active. 20 years of anticipation had prepared him partially for this moment. Every admiral since first contact received Protocol Grandfather briefing. Basic knowledge was provided. Ancient ships existed. A secret awaited. If the summons ever arrived, they would command humanity's final defense. Until this moment, everything seemed dreamlike and surreal, impossible to truly materialize. Reality had arrived. Taiyang donned his uniform and took military transport to the installation. Dawn broke as he reached the mountain. Chief Archivist Seo Yun Lee greeted him at the entrance. Having met the president hours earlier, she thanked him for rapid response. Taiyang replied formally that he served at humanity's need. She escorted him inside. Traversing the corridors, Taiyang noticed the dated appearance. Not ancient precisely, yet certainly not contemporary either. 2 centuries old, constructed when humanity first learned of their cosmic company. She asked what he knew about Protocol Grandfather. Taiyang mentioned vessels, 7 of them constructed by predecessor human, hidden for millennia, waiting in readiness. She inquired about additional knowledge. He admitted that was the extent of his briefing. Seo Yun smiled faintly, noting he was about to learn considerably more. They arrived at the central chamber. President Minjun Choi awaited alongside a dozen others. Scientists, historians, security personnel, all appeared simultaneously exhausted, excited, and frightened. The president addressed Admiral Kim, warning that forthcoming revelations would revolutionize his understanding of humanity. Seo Yun activated the holographic system. Earth's solar system appeared. The view expanded, showing nearby stellar bodies, then further revealing the entire galaxy. Red markers appeared across the galactic map, thousands of them. She explained these represented archaeological sites, ruins every spacefaring civilization had encountered. The Zenthari termed them ancient ruins. The Karath called them the first builder's legacy. Every species had located them. Every civilization had studied them. These ruins predated the oldest known civilization by 30 millennia. Taiyang studied the display. He'd heard of these legendary sites. Many technological advances emerged from studying them. Correct, Seo Yun confirmed. The Zenthari's faster-than-light drive was reverse-engineered from ancient ruins on their homeworld. Karath medical technology, originated from data crystals discovered in ruins on their moon. Half the galaxy's technology traced back to these mysterious ruins. Every species sought knowledge of their builder's identity and ultimate fate. The display returned to Earth's solar system. A timeline materialized, extending backward through history. 50,000 years, 60,000, 70,000. 50 millennia ago, So Yun stated. Humans reached the stars, not us specifically. Our ancestors, a different branch of human evolution that developed more rapidly. They identified themselves as the predecessor humans. The display presented imagery, cities floating in void, ships resembling artistic masterpieces, colonies spanning 100 worlds, all distinctly human yet different, technologically advanced beyond anything modern humanity achieved. They dispersed throughout the galaxy. Seo Yun continued. They constructed marvels. They attained knowledge and technological sophistication, appearing almost mystical. Everywhere they traveled, they left gifts for younger species they knew would eventually emerge. Data repositories, technological caches, civilization's foundations. Tai Yang stated quietly that these were the ancient ruins. Seo Yun confirmed precisely. Our ancestors seeded the galaxy with knowledge. They helped create contemporary civilization. Then approximately 40 millennia ago, they disappeared. Some records suggest they transcended physical existence. Others indicate they departed for distant galaxies beyond our reach. Certainty eludes us. The display changed again, depicting Earth surrounded by a protective grid. Before departing, they accomplished three things. First, they seeded Earth with new human genetic lineages, us modern humanity, their children starting fresh. Second, they left automated guardians to watch Earth until we developed space travel capability. Third, they constructed 7 dreadnoughts, the most powerful vessels they could engineer. These ships were concealed in fold space pockets around the solar system, locations existing outside normal reality. Seo Yun displayed technical specifications that overwhelmed Tai Yang comprehension. The vessels measured enormous, 15 kilometers long, constructed from seemingly impossible materials, powered by reactors extracting energy from space's very fabric. The ship's AI caretakers have preserved them for 50,000 years. Seo Yun explained. When we tested our first faster-than-light drive 2 centuries ago, the Guardians deemed us prepared. They revealed themselves to our explorers. We learned truth about our heritage and made a choice. President Minjun interjected. We chose secrecy. We were newcomers to galactic society. Uncertainty about other species' reactions consumed us. Would they worship us, fear us, attempt our destruction? We decided to wait, learn, grow, using the secret only when alternatives vanished. And alternatives have vanished. Tai Yang stated. Minjun agreed that alternatives no longer exist. The Galactic Council threatens our freedom, our worlds, our future. 800 ships against our few hundred. Conventional forces cannot achieve victory. Tai Yang reviewed the specifications again. These ships could engage in combat. One vessel could match 100 modern warships. Seo Yun stated. 7 ships could defeat the entire Council fleet without sustaining damage. The predecessor humans engineered them for invincibility. Then deployment is necessary. Tai Yang stated firmly. We must halt the Council. We protect our people. Simplicity evades us. President Minjun cautioned. If we reveal these ships, the galaxy learns truth. They'll understand humans built the ancient ruins. Every species owes their civilization to our ancestors. How will they respond? Will they accept us, or unite to destroy us from fear? And if we remain passive? Tai Yang asked. If we permit the Council to seize our worlds, then humanity becomes permanently protected species. Minjun stated we forfeit our freedom, our future, everything our ancestors desired for us. Tai Yang stood silent momentarily, contemplating. 30 years commanding ships had taught him much. He'd fought pirates and defended colonies. He'd always believed in humanity's potential. Now he learned that potential exceeded anyone's imagination. Our ancestors left these ships purposefully, he finally stated. They knew we might face insurmountable threats alone. They provided survival tools. I believe they'd want us using them. I believe they'd want us free. President Minjun nodded slowly in agreement.
That's why Protocol Grandfather is being activated. Admiral Kim, you'll command the lead vessel, the Eternal Sentinel. You'll select 6 additional captains for remaining vessels. You'll bring these ships to the Council Station and reveal what humanity has been concealing. Tai Yang asked about commencement timing. Now Seo Yun replied. She touched the console. The ships are already awakening. They await you. The holographic display shifted, showing 7 solar system locations. In each location, a fold space pocket was opening like a flower blooming. From each pocket, something massive was emerging. Taeyang watched as the first ship came into view. The Eternal Sentinel. It possessed both beauty and terror simultaneously. The hull appeared dark like space itself, yet seemed to shimmer with internal luminescence. Patterns covered the surface, designs simultaneously technological and artistic. Forward viewports glowed with soft azure light. The ship appeared alive, Taeyang whispered in awe. Seo Yun explained the ships are semi-organic. They grow and heal themselves. The predecessor humans designed them for eternal endurance. In 50,000 years, they haven't aged whatsoever. The remaining 6 ships appeared sequentially. Dawn's First Light, Void Keeper, Star Guardian, Horizon's Edge, Deep Watch, Memory of Earth. Each possessed slightly different design characteristics, yet all shared the same ancient powerful beauty. Crews will be required, President Minjun noted. The ship's artificial intelligences can operate autonomously, though human crews were the design intention. 700 people per vessel, pilots, engineers, weapons officers, support staff. We've maintained candidate lists for 2 centuries. People with appropriate skills and correct mindset. People capable of keeping secrets who will serve honorably. Taeyang inquired about crew assembly timeframe. They're already being contacted, Seo Yun stated. Most are military personnel. Some are civilians with specialized expertise. All will report to lunar orbit within 72 hours. Taeyang felt responsibility's weight settling upon his shoulders. He would command a vessel older than recorded history. He would lead humanity's revelation to the galaxy. He would face the Council fleet and change everything. He asked about orders regarding the Council fleet. President Minjun spoke carefully. Show them truth. Protect our people, but avoid initiating warfare if possible. Our ancestors left the galaxy gifts. They intended helping younger species, not dominating them. We should honor that legacy. Force only when necessary. Taeyang acknowledged understanding. Seo Yun handed him a data chip. This contains all our records of the predecessor humans. Their history, their technology, their message to us. Study it during your journey. When you address the council, you'll need explaining who we are and where we originated. Taeyang accepted the chip. Regarding Ambassador Park still at the council station, we've sent him a coded message. President Minjun stated. He knows you're coming. He'll request an emergency council session upon your arrival. Timing must be perfect. Taeyang asked about the ship's readiness timeline. The Eternal Sentinel is ready currently. Seo Yun stated. The AI caretaker awaits meeting you. The other ships will be ready in 72 hours once crews are aboard. President Minjun stood and placed a hand on Taeyang's shoulder. Admiral, humanity's future rests on events of the next 30 days. Our ancestors gave us a priceless gift. Use it wisely. Make them proud. Taeyang saluted. Failure is not an option. He took a shuttle to lunar orbit where the Eternal Sentinel waited. As his shuttle approached, Taeyang could barely comprehend the vessel's scale. 15 kilometers. Not merely a ship, a mobile city, a fortress, an artwork. The shuttle docked at one of the ship's airlocks. Taeyang stepped inside and felt the immediate temperature change. The air was warm with a faint ozone scent. The corridor walls were smooth and dark, yet they glowed with soft light seeming to emanate from within the material itself. A voice welcomed Admiral Taeyang Kim. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. It sounded human, yet somehow ancient, male and female at once, young and old. It was the ship's AI speaking for the first time in 50,000 years to a living human. The voice continued identifying itself as the Eternal Sentinel. It had waited long for this day to serve humanity's children again. Taeyang walked slowly through the corridor, his hand trailing along the wall. He noted the isolation of 50,000 years. The AI stated it had the other guardians. They communicated across the void. They watched her. They observed this species grow, learn and reach the stars again. Patience sustained them. Taeyang asked why the predecessor humans departed. They evolved beyond physical form's necessity. The AI explained, they became something greater, yet they loved Earth. They loved their children, so they ensured protection. They ensured guardians would be available when needed. The corridor opened into a vast chamber, the bridge. It was circular with stations arranged in concentric rings around a central command platform. Every surface displayed holographic information, star charts, system readouts, tactical displays, all waiting for human hands once more. Taeyang stepped onto the command platform. A chair rose from the floor, perfectly sized for him. He sat and felt the ship respond to his presence. The AI stated warmly that he was now captain. It recognized his genetic code. He was a child of Earth, exactly who it was built to serve. Taeyang asked about combat capability. The AI noted it was built by humanity's greatest civilization. It could fight, defend, and protect. Yet it was also built with wisdom. It knew when to fight and when to show mercy. It would help him make correct choices. Taeyang sat in the ancient chair observing the surrounding displays. In 72 hours, crews would arrive. In 72 hours, they would begin journeying to the council station. In 72 hours, humanity would emerge from shadows and reveal what they'd concealed for 2 centuries. He contemplated Ambassador Jin Soo Park waiting at the council station. He thought about the council's 800 ships. He considered High Arbiter Velmoth, and his arrogant certainty that humanity would surrender. Taeyang addressed the Sentinel, requesting a demonstration of capabilities. The displays changed. Tactical simulations ran through hundreds of scenarios. The ship could deploy weapons that bent space itself. It could create shields existing in multiple dimensions. It could move through fold space faster than anything in the modern galaxy. Every simulation showed identical results. The Eternal Sentinel could not be defeated by conventional forces. Taeyang stated quietly, they were going to change everything. The AI agreed. The galaxy thinks it knows who humans are. Soon they'll learn truth. Soon they'll understand that the people they called primitive and young are heirs of the civilization that gave them everything. Taeyang smiled. He thought they were going to be very surprised. The AI stated with something resembling amusement that his assessment was correct. Ju Wusong was a fighter pilot. She had flown combat missions against pirates in the outer colonies. She had logged 3,000 hours in the cockpit. She thought she knew everything about flying. Then she received orders to report to lunar orbit for a classified assignment, and everything she thought she knew became meaningless. The shuttle brought her to a ship that shouldn't exist. The Eternal Sentinel hung in space like a dark star, so massive that her mind struggled to process it. She had seen battleships before. This was something else entirely. She docked with 699 other personnel, military officers, engineers, medical staff, communication specialists. All had received the same mysterious summons. All stood in the massive hangar bay staring at the impossible ship surrounding them. Admiral Taeyang Kim stood on an elevated platform. Behind him, holographic displays showed the ship's basic layout. He waited until everyone was silent, then began speaking. Everything they were about to learn was classified at the highest level, he stated. Everyone had signed secrecy agreements. Everyone understood penalties for breaking those agreements. But he needed them understanding something more important than legal consequences. What they were about to do would change human history. It would change galactic history. The responsibility they carried exceeded anything any of them imagined. He gestured and the displays changed, showing images of the predecessor humans, their cities, their ships, their civilization. 50,000 years ago, humans reached the stars. Taeyang stated, they built wonder. They left gifts for younger species across the galaxy, and they built 7 ships to guard Earth until their descendants were ready. We are those descendants. This ship, the Eternal Sentinel, is our inheritance. Ji Wu listened in stunned silence. Around her others whispered in disbelief. Ancient humans. 50,000 years. It sounded like a fairy tale. Yet the ship around them was real. The evidence was undeniable. The Galactic Council has threatened humanity. Taeyang continued. 800 ships demand our surrender. They want to take our colonies. They want to make us a protected species. We could hide. We could surrender. Or we can reveal the truth and show them that humanity is not weak, not young, not primitive. We are the children of giants. He looked across the assembled crew. This will not be easy. The ship's AI will help you learn the systems. Yet this technology is 50,000 years beyond anything we currently use. Some of you will find it familiar. Some will struggle. But I chose each of you because I believe you can do this. I believe you can crew this ship with honor and skill. Ji Wu felt a flutter of nerves in her stomach. 50,000-year-old technology. How would it even work? You have 72 hours to learn your stations. Taeyang stated. Then we depart for the council station. Questions? 100 hands rose. Taeyang smiled. The AI will answer most of your questions. For now, go to your assigned stations. Begin your training. Make our ancestors proud. Ji Wu checked her assignment. Helm Station Primary Pilot. She felt excitement replace the nerves. She would fly this ancient miracle. She would pilot a ship built before recorded history. She took a lift to the bridge. The journey took 5 minutes because the ship was so large. When the doors opened, she gasped.
The bridge was stunning. Stations arranged in rings around a central command platform. Displays everywhere showing stars and data and tactical information. It looked like the night sky had come inside. Her station was in the first ring, directly in front of the command platform. She sat down in a chair that adjusted perfectly to her body. The console in front of her lit up with controls. The voice made her jump. It was the ship's AI speaking directly to her. The voice continued identifying itself as the Eternal Sentinel. She was the pilot. It was pleased to meet her. Ji-woo asked if it could talk. The AI stated warmly it could do many things. It could think, learn and feel joy at having a crew again after such a long wait. It asked her to place her hands on the helm controls. Ji-woo put her hands on the controls. They were smooth and warm like living things. The moment she touched them, information flooded into her mind. Not words but understanding. She suddenly knew how to adjust the ship's position, how to engage the fold space drive, how to perform emergency maneuvers. The knowledge felt natural, as if she had always known it. The AI explained the helm interface is partially telepathic. It reads intentions and responds. Think about moving forward and the ship will move forward. Think about turning and the ship will turn. The interface prevents anything dangerous or impossible. Ji-woo thought about rotating the ship 10 degrees to port. The massive vessel responded instantly. Smooth as silk. She laughed in delight. This is incredible. The predecessor humans believed technology should be intuitive. The AI stated they designed their ships to work with human thought, not against it. She would find flying the Eternal Sentinel easier than flying her fighter, even though this ship is thousands of times larger. Ji-woo spent the next hour practicing basic maneuvers. The ship responded to her thoughts with perfect precision. She could feel the massive vessel as if it were part of her own body. When she thought about speed, she could sense the engines building power. When she thought about direction, she could feel the ship's orientation in three-dimensional space. It was the most amazing flying experience of her life. Around the bridge, other crew members were having similar experience. The tactical officer discovered that the weapons systems could target 100 enemy ships simultaneously. The engineering chief learned that the ship could repair itself, regrowing damaged sections like living tissue. The communications officer found that the ship could send messages across the galaxy instantly using quantum entanglement. Every station was a miracle of technology that humanity had lost and was now rediscovering. Admiral Taeyang watched his crew learn and felt pride growing in his chest. They were good people, smart people. They deserved to crew a ship like this. On the other 6 ships, similar scenes were playing out. Captains chosen for their skill and wisdom. Crews selected for their ability and dedication. 700 people per ship, 4,900 humans total, all learning to operate vessels built by their ancient ancestors. The ships themselves seemed pleased. Their AIs had been alone for so long. Now they had purpose again. They had crews to serve and protect. They had a mission that honored the legacy of their creators. 72 hours passed quickly. By the end, the crews moved with confidence through the ancient corridors. They knew their stations. They understood their roles. They were ready. Admiral Taeyang called the 7 ship captains together for a virtual meeting. Their faces appeared on holographic displays around him. Captain Young-hee Park of Dawn's First Light. Captain Mio Choi of Voidkeeper. Captain Jae Wong Kim of Star Guardian. Captain Soo-jin Lee of Horizon's Edge. Captain Han Woo-han of Deep Watch. Captain Yoonji Kang of Memory of Earth. We depart in 1 hour, Taeyang stated. The journey to the council station will take 10 days at standard faster than light speeds. We will not hide. We will not sneak. We will show ourselves to the galaxy and let them see what humanity has been keeping secret. Yang He asked what if the council fleet attacks before arrival. Then we defend ourselves, Taeyang stated. But we don't strike first. We don't destroy unless we have no choice. Our ancestors left these ships for protection, not conquest. We honor that. The captains nodded. They understood. Stay in formation, Taeyang continued. Let the ship's AIs handle most of the flying. Focus on making your crews work together. These ships are powerful, yet our real strength is our humanity. Our ability to choose mercy over vengeance, compassion over cruelty. That's what will impress the galaxy. And if they don't care about our compassion, Hyung-woo asked, if they only respect force, then we show them force, Taeyang stated grimly. But we don't become the monsters they fear. We become the example they need. The meeting ended. Taeyang returned to the command platform on the Eternal Sentinel's bridge. Ji-woo sat ready at the helm. The rest of the bridge crew waited at their stations. Everyone knew their role. Taeyang addressed the Sentinel, asking if they were ready.
All systems optimal. The AI replied, all 6 sister ships report ready status. We can depart when you give the order. Taeyang took a deep breath. Once they left lunar orbit, there would be no going back. The galaxy would see them, questions would be asked, and in 10 days humanity would stand before the Galactic Council and reveal a truth that would shake civilization to its foundations. He spoke into the fleet communication channel. This is Admiral Kim. Engage fold space drives. Destination Council Station. Formation Delta 7. Let us show the galaxy who we really are. 7 massive ships opened rifts in spacetime. The rifts glowed with colors that shouldn't exist. The ships entered the rifts one by one, disappearing from normal space. And across the galaxy, long-range sensors began detecting something impossible. 7 enormous ships broadcasting energy signatures that matched nothing in any database. Energy signatures that were identical to readings taken from the mysterious ancient ruins scattered across 1,000 worlds. In the Council Station, alarms began sounding. On the Zenthari homeworld, scientists stared at their displays in confusion. The readings made no sense. Ships this old couldn't exist. Ships with these signatures should have decayed millennia ago. In research facilities across the galaxy, archaeologists who had spent their lives studying the ancient ruins suddenly realized they were seeing active technology from that lost civilization. High Arbiter Velmoth received the reports in his private quarters. He read them twice, then threw his datapad across the room in anger. Impossible, he shouted. The humans are playing tricks. They've built fake ships to frighten us. His intelligence chief stood nervously in the doorway. High Arbiter, the energy signatures are verified. Multiple independent sensor arrays confirm them. These ships match the ancient ruins exactly. If they're fakes, they're perfect fakes built with technology we don't possess. Then the humans found ancient ruined ships and repaired them, Velmoth stated. They're scavengers pretending to be something greater. Perhaps, the intelligence chief said carefully. Or perhaps there's another explanation. What explanation? Velmoth demanded. Perhaps the ancient ruins were built by humans. Perhaps these ships are human ships. Perhaps everything we thought we knew about galactic history is wrong. Velmoth's face darkened with rage. That's ridiculous. The ancient ruins predate humanity by tens of thousands of years. Humans are barely 2 centuries into space. You're suggesting that humans are older than the oldest species in the Council, that humans built the civilization that gave us our technology. I'm suggesting we don't know what we're dealing with, the intelligence chief stated. I'm suggesting we wait and learn before we do something foolish. Velmoth turned away, looking out at the stars. Summon the Council fleet, all 800 ships. I want them in defensive formation around the Council Station. If these mystery ships are hostile, we'll be ready. The intelligence chief bowed and left. Velmoth stood alone, staring into space, feeling the first touch of something he hadn't felt in a very long time. Fear. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, Jiwoo guided the ship through fold space with gentle thoughts. The other 6 ships followed in perfect formation. Inside the fold space bubble, stars looked strange, stretched and twisted, yet the journey was smooth. Admiral Taeyang watched the tactical displays. He could see the effects their appearance was having on the galaxy. Panic, confusion, fear. Exactly what he'd expect. Sir, the communications officer stated, we're receiving thousands of messages. News agencies, research institutions, governments. Everyone wants to know what we are. Don't respond, Taeyang stated. Let them wonder. Let them guess. In 10 days they'll have their answers.
He sent a coded message to Ambassador Jin Soo Park at the Council Station. 3 words. We are coming. Jin Soo received the message and smiled. He'd spent the last 72 hours listening to the Council debate and argue about the mysterious ships. Some thought they were a threat. Some thought they were a miracle. None guessed the truth. He requested an emergency Council session in 10 days. He said humanity wished to respond to the Council's ultimatum. Velmoth granted the request, thinking the humans would surrender. He had no idea what was about to happen. He had no idea that in 10 days, 7 ships older than his entire civilization would arrive at the Council Station and change everything forever. The 10-day journey began. The 7 Guardian ships crossed the galaxy in silence, leaving wonder and fear in their wake. The 7 ships dropped out of fold space 300 kilometers from the Council Station. The arrival was silent and precise. One moment the space was empty. The next moment 7 enormous dreadnoughts hung there like dark stars, ancient, powerful, and impossible. On the Council Station every sensor screamed alerts. Every screen showed the massive vessels. Every species representative rushed to observation windows to see with their own eyes.
The ships were beautiful in a way that hurt to look at. Their hulls seemed to absorb light while also glowing from within. Patterns covered their surfaces, mathematical and artistic at the same time. They were clearly ships, clearly made by intelligent beings, yet they were unlike anything any living species had created. High Arbiter Velmoth stood in the council chamber and felt his certainty crumbling. The ships were real. The energy signatures were authentic. These vessels matched the ancient ruins that his own species had studied for millennia. Ships that his people had used as temples, believing them to be gifts from gods. "Launch the fleet," he ordered. All 800 ships defensive formation around the station. The council's combined armada moved into position. Warships from 12 different species representing the combined military might of galactic civilization. They surrounded the 7 ancient dreadnoughts like insects surrounding eagles. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, Admiral Taeyang watched the fleet deploy. His tactical officer gave him the analysis. 873 ships total. Breakdown by class and capability on your display. Estimated combined firepower sufficient to destroy a small moon. Estimated threat to us, minimal. Taeyang nodded. The ship's AI had run the simulations 1,000 times. Even if all 800 ships fired simultaneously, they couldn't penetrate the Eternal Sentinel's shields. The technology gap was too great. It would be like Stone Age warriors attacking a modern battleship. But Taeyang hadn't come to fight. He'd come to talk. "Open a channel," he ordered. "All frequencies. I want every ship and every station to hear this." The communications officer worked the controls. "Channel open, sir." Taeyang stood on the command platform and spoke clearly. "This is Admiral Taeyang Kim of Earth, commanding the vessel Eternal Sentinel. We come in peace to answer the Galactic Council's ultimatum. We request permission to meet with the full council in formal session." Silence answered him for 10 long seconds. Then High Arbiter Velmoth's voice came over the channel, sharp with anger and fear. "You will identify yourselves. What species created these vessels? Where did you obtain ancient ruin technology? You're in violation of galactic law by operating weapons of unknown origin near the council station." Taeyang kept his voice calm. "All your questions will be answered. High Arbiter, Ambassador Jin Soo Park has already requested a formal council session. We're here to attend that session and present humanity's response to your demands. We mean no harm to the council or any species present. You arrive with 7 warships and claim peaceful intentions." Velmoth shouted. "You threaten us with ancient ruin vessels and demand we listen." "We don't threaten," Taeyang stated. "We defend. There's a difference. Will the council grant us the session we've requested, or must we wait in the cold of space?" More silence. Taeyang imagined the debate happening in the council chamber. Some would want to attack. Some would want to negotiate. All would be terrified and confused. Finally, a different voice came over the channel. The Korath representative, Elder Brightclaw, speaking in his species' gentle rumbling tone. "The council will convene in 2 hours," Brightclaw stated. "Ambassador Park and Admiral Kim are invited to present their case. We ask that your ships remain at their current position. We ask that you bring no weapons into the council chamber, and we ask respectfully for patience as we try to understand what we're seeing." "Agreed," Taeyang stated. "We'll wait here. We'll bring no weapon. We'll answer all your questions truthfully. Thank you, Elder Brightclaw." The channel closed. Taeyang turned to his crew. 2 hours. Prepare a data package containing all records of the predecessor humans' history, technology, archaeological evidence. I want the council to see everything. While the crew worked, Taeyang took a shuttle to the council station. Ambassador Jin Soo Park met him at the docking bay. The 2 men clasped hands. "It's good to see you, Admiral," Jin Soo stated. "And you, Ambassador," Taeyang replied. "How's the council's mood?" "Terrified," Jin Soo stated honestly. "The Zenthore want to attack. The Korath want to study your ships. The Ven want to wait and analyze. Everyone's arguing, yet they're all afraid. Ships like yours shouldn't exist. Technology like yours shouldn't be possible. Then we'll show them the truth," Taeyang stated. "We'll explain who built these ships and why." They walked together to the council chamber. Along the way, aliens stopped and stared. Some whispered prayers. Some recorded everything with their devices. All of them looked at Taeyang with a mixture of fear and awe. The council chamber was packed. Every representative was present. Every balcony was full. Security forces lined the walls, though their small arms would be useless against any real threat. Taeyang and Jin Soo stood in the center of the chamber just as Jin Soo had stood 10 days ago when receiving the ultimatum. But now everything was different. Now humanity had shown its hand. High Arbiter Velmoth glared down at them from his high balcony. Explain yourselves. Where did you obtain those ships? Jin Su stepped forward. We didn't obtain them, High Arbiter. They're ours. They've always been ours. They were built by humans 50,000 years ago, and hidden until we needed them. The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Velmoth's voice cut through the noise. Lies. Humans have only been in space for 2 centuries. You expect us to believe you built ancient ruin vessels? We expect you to examine the evidence, Jin Su stated calmly. He gestured and holographic displays appeared throughout the chamber. They showed images from Earth's archives, predecessor humans, their cities, their ships, their civilization. 50,000 years ago, an earlier branch of humanity reached the stars. Jin Su explained. They spread across the galaxy. They built wonders, and everywhere they went, they left gifts for the younger species they knew would eventually evolve. Data repositories, technology caches, the foundations of civilization. The displays changed, showing ancient ruins from a dozen different worlds. Then they showed the same ruins with overlays highlighting design elements, mathematical patterns, architectural style. Every ruin shared the same basic aesthetic, the same artistic sense, the same approach to structure and form. The ancient ruins you've studied for thousands of years, Jin Su stated. The ruins that gave you faster-than-light travel, the ruins that provided medical technology, material science, energy generation, all of them were built by predecessor humans. Your civilizations were built on the foundation my ancestors left for you. Elder Brightclaw spoke up, his voice thoughtful. The archaeological evidence has always suggested a single source for the ruins, a single civilization that spread across the galaxy and then vanished. You claim that civilization was human. I don't claim it, Jin Su stated. I can prove. He activated another set of displays. These showed genetic analysis, DNA samples from predecessor human remains found in sealed chambers on Earth, DNA samples from modern human. The comparison was undeniable. The same base genetic structure, the same markers, different branches of the same species. We're their children, Jin Su stated quietly. They seeded Earth with new human genetic lines before they left us. Modern humanity. They gave us a fresh start. They left guardians to watch over us, and they left 7 ships to protect us when we couldn't protect ourselves. The chamber fell silent. Species that had built temples to the ancient ones now learned those ancient ones were human. Species that had studied the ruins as holy sites now learned they were examining human architecture. Species that had thought themselves old and wise now faced the reality that humans were older. A Zenthori scientist stood on Velmoth's balcony. If this is true, we can verify it. The mathematical constants used in ancient ruin construction, the artistic patterns, the technological signatures, we've studied them for millennia. If your ships match those signatures exactly, that would be strong evidence. Test them, Taeyang stated. Send your scientists to examine my ship. Run whatever analysis you need. The truth won't change. Elder Brightclaw made a gesture of agreement. I support this. We should verify the claims before making any decisions. Velmoth looked furious. And if the claims are true, if humans really did build the ancient ruins, what then?
We owe our entire civilization to them. We should bow down in gratitude. We should recognize the truth, Brightclaw stated firmly. And we should reconsider our treatment of a species that gave us everything. The council voted to send scientific teams to examine the 7 ships. Teams from every species equipped with the best analysis equipment available. They boarded the ships with a mixture of fear and excitement. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, a team of Zenthari archaeologists stood in the engine room and wept. The reactor design matched theoretical reconstructions they'd made from ancient ruin fragments. The power flow patterns matched equations they'd found carved in stone on their homeworld. Everything matched. Everything was authentic. A Korath medical researcher examined the ship's bioregenerative systems and recognized principles her species had learned from ancient ruin medical bays. The same organic technological fusion. The same elegant solutions to complex problems. A Venn mathematician analyzed the ship's navigation computer and saw algorithms that formed the basis of every faster-than-light drive in the galaxy. The original source code, the foundation of all modern space travel. Every test confirmed Jin Su's claims. Every analysis supported the impossible truth. The ships were authentic ancient ruin vessels, and they were human. The scientific teams returned to the council chamber 6 hours later. Their reports were unanimous. The 7 ships matched ancient ruin technology in every detail. More than that, the ships contained design elements that had never been found in any ruin. Secrets that the predecessor humans had kept in their mobile vessels. New knowledge. New understanding. Elder Brightclaw stood and addressed the council. The evidence is clear. Humans built the civilization we call the Ancient Ones. Humans gave us the knowledge we used to build our own civilizations. Humans aren't young. They're older than any species in this chamber. And what does that mean for the ultimatum? Asked a representative from the Ven species. We threatened to take their worlds. We called them primitive and aggressive. We were about to make war on our own benefactors. Velmoth stood rigid with fury and humiliation. So they have old ships. So what? That doesn't make them wise. That doesn't make them peaceful. We made our demands based on their current actions, not their ancient history. Admiral Taeyang spoke for the first time in hours. You made your demands based on fear. You saw humanity expanding and thriving and it frightened you. You wanted to control us, to limit us, to make sure we never challenged your power. But you were wrong about us. We don't seek to dominate. We seek to grow, to explore, to build just as our ancestors did. Prove it, Velmoth stated coldly. You have 7 warships capable of destroying this entire station. You could force us to comply with any demands you make. Why should we believe you want peace? Taeyang looked up at the Zenthari leader. Because we've shown restraint. We could have hidden until your fleet attacked our colony. We could have ambushed you. We could have destroyed your 800 ships before revealing ourselves. Instead, we came here openly. We explained ourselves honestly. We brought proof instead of threats. That's who we are. That's who our ancestors were. We choose truth over deception. Cooperation over conquest. Pretty words, Velmoth sneered. But words are easy. Actions matter. What will you do with those ships now that we know about them? We'll return them to their hiding places. Taeyang stated, they'll go back to sleep, waiting for the next time humanity needs protection. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We don't want to conquer or control. We want our freedom. We want our colonies. We want to be left alone to grow at our own pace. And if we refuse, Velmoth asked, if we still demand you accept protected species status. The chamber fell silent. Everyone waited for Taeyang's answer. Then we'll refuse, Taeyang stated simply. And we'll defend ourselves. Not with conquest. Not with occupation. Yet we won't surrender our freedom. Our ancestors left us these ships for exactly this situation. They knew we might face threats we couldn't overcome with gentle words. They gave us the means to protect ourselves. We'll use that means if we must. Velmoth's face twisted with rage. You threatened the council. I state facts, Taeyang corrected. You gave us an ultimatum. We've given you a response. Now you must choose. Will you recognize humanity's sovereignty or will you force us to demonstrate why you should? Velmoth turned to his own species' military commander. Attack order. All Zenthari vessels. Target the human ships. Destroy them. The Zenthari commander hesitated. High Arbiter, I must respectfully. That's an order. Velmoth screamed. Fire on those ships. Show these primitive upstarts what happens when they defy the Zenthari Empire. 12 Zenthari warships broke formation. They were the newest, most powerful vessels in the Zenthari fleet. They armed their weapons and accelerated toward the Eternal Sentinel. In the council chamber, representatives gasped. Some called for Velmoth to stop. Others simply watched in horror. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, alarms sounded. 12 vessels inbound. The tactical officer reported. Weapons armed. They're targeting our position. Taeyang felt a profound sadness. He'd hoped to avoid this. Yet Velmoth had made his choice. Don't destroy them, Taeyang ordered. Disable only. Show them why attacking us is futile. Yet don't kill. Understood, sir. The tactical officer stated. The 12 Zenthari ships opened fire. Missiles streaked across space. Energy beams lanced out. Kinetic rounds accelerated to a fraction of light speed. Enough firepower to level a city. All of it focused on the Eternal Sentinel. The ancient Dreadnoughts' shields activated. They didn't shimmer or glow. They simply existed. An invisible barrier that existed in multiple dimensions at once. The Zenthari weapons struck the shields and vanished. Their energy absorbed and redirected into fold space. The Eternal Sentinel hadn't even trembled. Return fire, Taeyang ordered. Precision targeting. Disable their weapons and engines. Don't harm the crews. The ship's weapons weren't missiles or beams. They were something else entirely. Focused gravity waves that reached out and simply stopped the attacking ships. The 12 Zenthari vessels froze in space. Unable to move, unable to fire, held gently yet firmly by forces they couldn't understand or resist. In the council chamber, the display showed everything. The attack, the effortless defense, the precision response. 12 of the Zenthari Empire's best warships hung helpless in space, held captive by a single ancient vessel that hadn't even needed to try. The message was clear. Humanity couldn't be threatened.
couldn't be intimidated, couldn't be forced. The 7 Guardian ships hung in space, dark, powerful, and patient, waiting for the Council to understand what they should have known from the beginning. Some species couldn't be caged. High Arbiter, Velmoth stared at the display showing his frozen warships. 12 of the Zenthari Empire's finest vessels held motionless by a single ancient human dreadnought. His hands gripped the railing of his balcony so hard that his knuckles turned white. Admiral Taeyang's voice came over the open channel, calm and measured. High Arbiter, your ships are undamaged, your crews are unharmed. We've simply prevented them from continuing their attack. We could have destroyed them. We could have killed thousands of your people. We chose not to. That choice should tell you everything you need to know about human intentions. In the council chamber, Elder Brightclaw rose to his feet. The massive Korath looked at Velmoth with something close to pity. High Arbiter, you've made a grave error. You gave the order to fire on vessels that had threatened no one. By council law, the humans would have been justified in destroying your ships in self-defense. Instead, they showed mercy. Perhaps you should learn from their example. Other council representatives began to speak up, the Ven representative clicking her mandibles in what her species considered a sign of respect. The humans have demonstrated superior technology, superior tactical ability, and superior restraint. They've proven themselves far more civilized than we credited them. I move to withdraw the ultimatum against humanity immediately. Seconded, called a representative from the Dal species, an aquatic people known for their fairness. Thirded, added a representative from the Corvin, a reptilian species that valued strength and honor above all else. Velmoth spun to face the council. You would reward their defiance. You would let them threaten us and simply accept it. They haven't threatened us, Brightclaw stated gently. We threatened them. We gave them an unjust ultimatum. They responded with truth and evidence. We attacked them. They responded with restraint. In every exchange, we've been the aggressors. In every exchange, they've chosen the path of peace. The shame is ours, High Arbiter, not theirs. Velmoth looked around the chamber and saw the truth in the faces of the other representatives. They agreed with Brightclaw. They'd all seen the demonstration. A single ancient human ship had stopped 12 modern warships without breaking a sweat. 7 such ships could destroy the entire council fleet. Yet humanity hadn't chosen destruction. They'd chosen mercy. The Zenthari leader felt his power crumbling. His own species representatives were watching him with doubt. He'd led them into a confrontation that revealed their weakness. He'd attacked beings who'd given the Zenthari their very civilization. He'd shown himself to be reckless and foolish. Velmoth began, then stopped. What could he say? How could he defend his action?
Ambassador Jinsu Park spoke into the silence. High Arbiter, we understand your fear. When a new species rises, it changes the balance of power. It threatens those who are comfortable with the old order. Yet our ancestors didn't leave us these ships so we could dominate you. They left them so we could protect ourselves, so we could be free to grow and learn and find our own path among the stars. He gestured to the holographic displays that still showed the predecessor humans. Our ancestors gave your civilizations knowledge. They gave you technology. They gave you the tools to build your societies. They asked nothing in return. They simply left gifts and disappeared. We're trying to honor that legacy. We want to be builders, not conquerors. Partners, not masters. Yet we can't be partners if you treat us like children who need to be controlled. Elder Brightclaw stood again. Ambassador Park speaks wisdom. I call for an immediate vote. All those in favor of withdrawing the ultimatum against humanity, recognizing their sovereignty over their 47 colonies and issuing a formal apology for our threats. Please signal your support. One by one, representatives across the chamber signaled their agreement. The Korath, the Ven, the Dal, the Corvin. Species after species voted yes. Even some of the Zenthari representatives voted to withdraw the ultimatum, defying their own High Arbiter. The final count was overwhelming. 137 votes in favor of withdrawing the ultimatum. Only 12 votes against, all of them Zenthari loyalists who feared to oppose Velmoth. Brightclaw announced the result. By the authority of this council, the ultimatum against humanity is withdrawn. Human sovereignty over their colonies is recognized. The council issues a formal apology for threatening a species that has proven itself both ancient and wise. Furthermore, I propose that we invite humanity to join the council as full members with voting rights. All in favor. This vote took longer. Some species worried about adding humans to the council so quickly. Some thought it was too much too soon. Yet most recognized the necessity. The 7 Guardian ships floating in space made it clear that humanity couldn't be excluded or ignored. Better to have them inside the council participating in decisions than outside and potentially hostile. The vote passed, not as overwhelmingly as the first, yet decisively. Humanity would join the Galactic Council as equals, not subjects. Velmoth watched his defeat unfold and felt a lifetime of certainty dissolving. The Zenthari had always been first, always been strongest, always been the leader. Now humans whom he'd dismissed as primitive children had proven themselves the heirs of the civilization that made everything possible. His own people's representatives approached him on the balcony. The senior representative, a female named Charamoth, spoke quietly yet firmly. High Arbiter, you've embarrassed our species. You've attacked without provocation. You've ignored evidence and wisdom. The Zenthari Leadership Council has voted. You're removed from your position effective immediately. Velmoth wanted to rage, wanted to argue, yet he saw the truth in Charamoth's eyes. He'd failed. He'd let pride and fear guide him instead of wisdom. He bowed his head and stepped back from the railing. Charamoth took his place and addressed the council. On behalf of the Zenthari Empire, I apologize for High Arbiter Velmoth's actions. We attacked humanity without cause. We threatened them out of fear. We were wrong. We ask humanity's forgiveness and offer our friendship going forward. Ambassador Jin Su bowed respectfully. The Zenthari Empire's apology is accepted. We hold no grudge against your species. We know that fear can make even wise people do foolish things. We hope to build a better relationship in the future. Admiral Taiyang added. We'll release your 12 ships immediately. They'll be fully functional. Your crews are unharmed. We hope this can be the last violence between our peoples. Aboard the Eternal Sentinel, Taiyang gave the order. The gravity fields holding the Zenthari ships released. The vessels drifted free, their systems coming back online. The Zenthari crews ran diagnostics and found everything intact, not a single system damaged. The humans had truly shown perfect restraint. The Zenthari fleet commander sent a message to Taiyang. Admiral Kim, I salute you. You could have destroyed us. You chose mercy instead. That's the mark of a truly advanced civilization. I'll remember this day and teach my children about the humans who showed us compassion when they could have shown us death. Taiyang felt emotion tighten his throat. Thank you, Commander. May there be peace between our peoples from this day forward. In the council chamber, Elder Brightclaw proposed one more resolution. Humanity possesses knowledge from the predecessor civilization, ancient records and technology that could benefit us all. I propose that humanity be invited to join a cooperative research program. We share our knowledge of the ancient ruins. They share their inherited records. Together we learn the full truth of galactic history. Ambassador Jin Su considered this. He looked at Admiral Taiyang, who nodded slightly. They discussed this possibility during the long voyage to the council station. We accept, Jin Su stated. With one condition. The knowledge we share must be used for peaceful purposes. No weapons research, no attempts to replicate our guardian ships for military conquest. The predecessor humans left gifts to help civilizations grow, not to help them destroy each other. We'll share what we know, yet only if the council agrees to use it responsibly. Brightclaw nodded. A fair condition. We agree. A joint research council will be established with representatives from all species. Humanity will have veto power over any projects they deem too dangerous. Does the council approve? The approval was unanimous. Even the remaining Velmoth loyalists voted yes. The opportunity to learn from actual predecessor human records was too valuable to refuse. President Minjin Choi, watching from Earth via secure transmission, felt relief wash over him. They'd done it. They'd revealed the truth without starting a war. They'd protected humanity's freedom while offering cooperation instead of conquest. The predecessor humans would have been proud. He sent a message to Admiral Taiyang and Ambassador Jin Su. Well done, both of you. Come home when you're finished. We have much to discuss about humanity's new role in the galaxy. The council session ended with formal ceremonies. Treaties were signed. Apologies were recorded. Humanity was welcomed into the Galactic Council with full rights and privileges. The representatives from every species came forward to greet Jin Su and Taiyang personally, expressing wonder and respect and hope for the future. Elder Brightclaw was the last to approach. The massive Korath bowed deeply, a gesture of profound respect in his culture. On behalf of my people, I thank your ancestors for the gifts they left us. The medical technology we found in the ruins on our moon saved my daughter's life when she was young. Without that knowledge, she would have died. I owe your species a debt I can never repay. Jin Su placed a hand on the elder's massive arm. You owe us nothing, elder. Our ancestors left those gifts freely, hoping they would help. That they saved your daughter is exactly the outcome they would have wanted. We ask only that you help us honor their legacy by building a galaxy based on cooperation and peace.
I'll spend the rest of my life working toward that goal," Brightclaw promised. 3 days later, the 7 Guardian ships prepared to depart. Their crews had become comfortable with the ancient vessels. Young pilot Ji-Woo Song sat at the helm of the Eternal Sentinel and felt the ship respond to her thoughts like an extension of her own body. Admiral Taeyang stood on the command platform and opened a final channel to the Council station. "This is Admiral Kim. The Guardian ships will return to their hiding places now. We hope we won't need to awaken them again for a very long time. Yet know that they're there, watching, waiting, protecting not just humanity but the ideals our ancestors believed in. Freedom, cooperation, peace. If any species threatens those ideals, the Guardians will wake again. This isn't a threat, it's a promise." The 7 ships opened fold space rifts. Yet before entering, Admiral Taeyang activated one final system. The ship's AIs had prepared something special. A holographic transmission filled the space around the Council station. It was massive, visible for millions of kilometers. It showed a human woman from 50,000 years ago. She looked young and old at the same time, wise and kind and powerful. She wore robes that seemed to shimmer with their own light. When she spoke, her words translated automatically into every language in the galaxy. "We are humanity's first flowering. We reached the stars and found them empty of sapient life. We could have claimed the galaxy for ourselves alone. Instead, we chose to plant seeds. We left gifts for the species we knew would evolve after we moved on. We left technology, knowledge, hope. We did this because we believe that intelligence, wherever it arises, deserves the chance to grow and thrive." The woman's image smiled gently. "If you're hearing this message, our descendants face a threat they can't overcome alone. We left them guardians, 7 ships built with all our knowledge and skill. We ask you, younger species who used our gifts to build your civilizations, to remember where you came from. Remember who helped you and protect our children as we once seeded the galaxy for you." The message paused, then continued. "Yet we also left this message for our descendants. Children of Earth, children of humanity. You who carry our genetic legacy forward, be worthy of these gifts. Don't use them for conquest. Don't use them for domination. Use them for protection. Use them to preserve freedom. Use them to build, not destroy. We chose to leave because we'd learned everything this form of existence could teach us. We transcended. We moved on. Someday you may do the same. Yet until that day, be good stewards of the galaxy we left in your care. Make us proud." The image faded. For a long moment, no one spoke. Across the Council station, aliens stood in silence, processing what they'd heard. A message from beings who'd lived 50,000 years ago. A message of hope and responsibility and love for both humanity and the galaxy. Chief Archivist Seo Yun Lee, watching from Earth, wept quietly. She'd spent her entire adult life guarding the secret of the predecessor humans. Now that secret was revealed, and it was more beautiful than she'd ever imagined. The 7 Guardian ships entered their fold space rifts and disappeared. They returned to their hiding places throughout the solar system. The crews disembarked, returning to their normal lives with memories of the incredible journey they'd taken. Some, like Ji-Woo Song, were invited to join a permanent Guardian Corps that would maintain the ships and train for the day they might be needed again. Ji-Woo accepted immediately. She couldn't imagine going back to regular fighter craft after flying the Eternal Sentinel. The ancient ship had become part of her and she'd become part of it. In the mountain facility on Earth, the central control console displayed a new message from the Guardian AIs. "Mission successful. Protocol grandfather complete. Returning to standby mode. We're proud to serve humanity's children. We'll watch and wait. Call us if you need us. We'll always answer." President Min-jun Choi stood in the empty chamber and felt the weight of history. Humanity had revealed its greatest secret. They'd faced potential annihilation and chosen truth over deception, mercy over vengeance. They'd honored the predecessor humans' legacy. Now came the hard part, building a galaxy based on cooperation instead of fear. Using their new position on the Galactic Council to promote peace instead of power, living up to the example their ancestors had set. Yet as Min-jun left the facility and emerged into the sunlight, he felt hope. Humanity had shown the galaxy who they really were, not conquerors, not dominators, but builders, helpers, the children of giants who wanted to honor their parents' memory by being worthy of their inheritance. Ambassador Jin-Soo Park became the first human high arbiter on the Galactic Council, elected by an overwhelming majority. He used his position to push for reforms, better protections for developing species, more equitable trade agreements, research initiatives focused on helping everyone, not just the powerful. Admiral Taeyang Kim retired from active military duty, yet accepted a position as chief guardian, overseeing the 7 ships and their AI caretakers. He ensured they would be maintained, honored, and ready if humanity ever needed them again. Elder Brightclaw and Jin Su became close friends. The Korath Elder often said that the day humanity revealed their guardians was the day he learned that the universe was kinder than he'd believed. The ancient humans could have used their knowledge for conquest. Instead, they'd used it for generosity. That choice echoed across 50,000 years and changed the galaxy for the better. On distant worlds, in research facilities and universities, scholars began the long work of reinterpreting galactic history. Every ancient ruin site was re-examined with new understanding. They weren't mysterious alien structures, they were human gifts. Acts of love from beings who knew they would never meet the species they were helping. Young species just developing space travel found that the Galactic Council had become more welcoming, more patient, more willing to help. The predecessor humans' example had reminded everyone what civilization could be at its best. And in the outer solar system, 7 ancient ships waited in their fold space pockets. Their AIs dreamed digital dreams, and thought about the crews they'd briefly known. They'd waited 50,000 years for humanity to need them. They would gladly wait 50,000 more if necessary. Yet they hoped in the way that thinking machines can hope, that the galaxy had learned its lesson, that humanity would be allowed to grow in peace, that the Guardians could sleep, knowing their charges were safe and free, and building a future worthy of the past. In the end, humanity had revealed what they'd been hiding. Not just ships, not just technology, but the truth of who they were and who they aspired to be. The children of giants trying to be worthy of their inheritance. And across the galaxy, something changed. A new era began.